Pashaparo, wide at 7, big board pep for my peeps. Thank you for tuning. A replay. All right, so it's been a while on the stock side, and you guys know why that is. So let's actually jump, and I want to talk about Veon today real quick. It ain't even gonna be long. I just been kind of watching this week, get ready to get back into it, and here is where we can start looking at. So this is just on the daily right now. The 10-year Treasury note, as you can see, is doing a little dive. Nothing major there. But what I wanted to illustrate was, let's look at the year, and you can see that this was the period of time where, see, like we talked about on the last video. That's why I haven't made another video on the stocks for a while, because the last thing I was looking at, and I put in the video for you, was as the bond yields rise, you know, the stock market basically operates in the inverse of this graph. And up until, you know, here we crossed into April, right? And then May, and now we're into June. So it was rising as the market was falling, or the market was falling as this was rising, however you want to say. Then we had a relatively nice, it's not flat, but it's kind of like a nice gradual slope downward, which is good and for the stock market. So this is a good time to start getting back to paying attention to what's going on in the market and seeing what you want to do if you haven't already. So Veon is one of, you know, that's like one of the ones I'm really interested in for the long term. And they did a little move yesterday, perfect time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and so you can, you know, decide how you wanna look into it. So what we have here is, what they did was Veon acquired Russian AdTech platform OTM for undisclosed sum. Now what that's gonna do is, basically it's a connectivity and internet service provider, which is Veon. So you already know they're basically the phones. They're gonna be PayPal. They're gonna be they're gonna be Amazon. They're gonna be everything like under one umbrella, right? So and then the growth rate is gonna be crazy, because it's in a part of the world where this is gonna be like the new technology. So the growth rate should be crazy in the next months to years. So automating and planning online advertising purchases in Russia. That's what OTM was, right? So the financial terms of the transaction remain undisclosed. Okay, so the arrangement will significantly strengthen Beeline's position in the AdTech market and enable Veon to expand OTM operations into other markets served by Veon's mobile operators, right? So the acquisition builds on Veon's ongoing transformation into a digital operator. All right, so they're building, they're growing, and trust me, this is going to be huge in the next couple of years. So if you can get in now, it's less than $1. It's actually sitting at $1.73 right now. It's up like 5 or 6 cents for the day, which is a big move for them. You know what I mean? This is the one I said, don't really move too much. It's like a penny here, a penny there. And you're basically, what I'm looking at is just for, by the time the rest of the world catches on to this, and it continues to grow, and when you see the area that it's servicing and all the services it provides in that area, this is going to be an absolute monster in a little while. So OTM will remain separate operating company as part of Veon Group, managed by its current management team, which is kind of like what they got anyway. Like they got the Beeline, they got the here I can just show you. They got everything. The PayPal services, they got Jazz, they got Jazz Coin, Jazz Cash. They got all these are like services they offer under their umbrella, which each one of these could be its own business by itself. You see what I'm saying? So let's get back to the news here. So this transaction will boost AdTech services provided by Beeline Russia and provide a platform for Veon's expansion into the market through its digital operators, which they kind of just went over before. One of the keynotes is that the digital advertising market in Russia is forecasted to grow from $4 billion to $6 billion in 5 years. So it's going to be a $2 billion increase estimated over a 5-year period of time, which that may or may not be an underestimate based on the fact that this is going to be an exponential growth curve as technology gets cheaper and more people recognize what they can do with it. More people's gonna want it, just like the explosion that happened in China. So remember, if you're unfamiliar with Veon, jump over to the channel and check out some of the other videos we've done on Veon, and you can get the full rundown on what they do and everything. I have this coupled with Evolve, which is also up about 4 or 5 cents today, which is good moves for both of them. So, yeah. All right. With that, right, let's take a look at the Veon. Let's go back here. And I just want to run over 2 things real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but here's where they talk about the sale or the acquisition, so to speak. So, announces it acquired a majority stake in OTM, which is probably why it's going to still be its own entity, because they have a majority stake, but that doesn't mean they necessarily bought the whole thing flat out, but they running it now. And technology platform for the automation and planning of online advertising purchases in Russia. All right, so Veon's investment in OTM will significantly strengthen Beeline's position in the AdTech market, and we kind of went over that a moment ago. So here is so OTM is one of the largest independent AdTech players, right, in Russia. So they basically just bought the biggest part of the competition. So both in terms of revenue and in the volume of online ad inventories managed by its platforms. Since its inception in 2010, the OTM platform has become one of the largest players in the Russian AdTech market, partnering with nearly all major ad agencies, and offering a full stack of award-winning programmatic products. So when you already got all the ad agencies almost under the belt, they're coming in to just it's a cash cow. So as part of the Veon Group, OTM will remain a separate operating company managed by its current management team, playing an important role in growing Veon's AdTech business. All right. And it goes over some of the stuff we heard already. 4 to 6. It's gonna go from $4 to $6 billion in 5 years, which is their estimates. And the other cool thing that's happening right now is they expanded their financial services portfolio. So remember, think about like PayPal and all that stuff, right? All in one with a phone company. So Veon and Euronext Amsterdam, a leading global provider of connectivity and internet services, announces that its operating company in Kazakhstan, Beeline, has launched the country's first digital payment card integrated with its mobile financial services offering. So first and established equals growth, right? So marketed under the Simply brand, the Beeline Kazakhstan digital payment card is a mobile financial service application linked to a customer's phone number, an electronic wallet, and a premium digital Visa Platinum card. The card is also integrated with digital wallets Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Garmin Pay. So mobile financial services are a key strategy for the future growth of Veon, and one that is highly suited to the markets we serve, where financial inclusion remains low. See, this is what I'm talking about. The markets they serve, financial inclusion remains low. So, and it's not low because like It's low because the technology wasn't there, and I went over this in the actual when we did the main videos on it prior to, and I compared it to China. Like China had an explosion because the people way out in the countryside, right? They didn't. You don't feel like traveling 20 miles each way to go to the bank to handle a little simple transaction between you and your neighbor, right? So once they got the cell phones in everybody's hands over in China, whether they were out in the field, out, once they filming countryside, or they were downtown in one of the Chinese cities, they were able to all have the same financial inclusion and connect with each other and move the money around and stimulate commerce. So as this phone company grows and spreads these services and puts it into people's hands that didn't have it before, they're going to be able to grow commerce over there, and that's going to make more money flow through, and more people are going to get these phones and services. So this is just like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode into positivity. So, but let's continue. So remains low. And it says, we have successfully grown financial services and e-commerce businesses off the back of mobile operations in Pakistan. And we are now announcing a similar innovative initiative by Beeline in Kazakhstan. So if you go and they basically have all of the countries. They have Russia, all the staying countries, and like that whole area, like between Europe and Russia, including Russia and China. Not China, but that area in between them. That's basically their whole territory. It's like it's huge. So we continue to invest in our 4G. Now, I know you're looking at 4G like what, but go back to the video and get the full breakdown. The same way that you may or may not be excited about America or the United States transitioning into 5G applications, the new technology for that whole area, that whole side of the world, not the whole side of the world, but that whole area that they service is going to be 4G. So 4G is the equivalent of 5G to us today over there. So same thing to them. The same empowerment is happening over there, even though it's 4G. So all this is happening right now, and like I said, as it expands and grows, it's going to be huge numbers, and they're just gonna catch all the profit for it. So we're sitting at $1.73 today. I mean, per share. If you get in for entertainment purposes, today, I'm not saying it's gonna blow up and be $20 tomorrow or next month, but the potential is there when you compare it to other competition or other like entities on a global scale. Like they're like ranked number 12 in the world, and as you can see, most of their finite inclusion remains low. So they're just starting to grow, and they're already number 12 in the world. So looking at that, and so it says, we continue to invest in our high-G data networks, which currently cover 77% of the population, promoting digital adoption in the country. And this is just talking about probably the one country, Kazakhstan, because it's saying, chief executive of Beeline, Kazakhstan. So this is just Kazakhstan alone. And they have only 77% of the population is basically in a serviceable area right now. So that doesn't mean that 77% of the population is actually getting service from them. They're just expanding to the point where now they cover 77% of the population. So today, Beeline Kazakhstan is entering a new field, marking a new era in the mobile financial services in Kazakhstan, where currently 40% of the country's population is unbanked, right? So 40% of the country's population is unbanked. So that's a lot of money going to get dumped into their network. So we are presenting a next generation product, which we believe is unique in the market, designed to boost the financial inclusion. It is the first mobile digital bank in the Republic of Kazakhstan, and is an example of our pioneering approach in making the best product offers and customer experience available on customer smartphones. So we are constantly studying the customer experience in order to offer market innovative solutions and the intersection of industries. So the announcement follows Veon's success in pioneering mobile financial services application in other operating markets, including Jazz Cash in Pakistan, that has surpassed 14 million users. So there you have it. Check them out because, like I said, they're definitely going to be a large player on, especially in that side of the world, if not globally. I don't see them coming and getting a lot of market share like in the States, but where they're at, they have a huge opportunity. Matter of fact, let me show you what I mean here real quick. No, let me do it like this. Europe and Asia map. All right. Let's get this on here. So here we go. Here goes some maps. As you can see here, so here's Russia all up here, right? Here is Kazakhstan, Pakistan. So all this area right up in here, right? And I was amazed when Pakistan had that blackout they had, and it said they left their country's population is 200 million. So think about it. The United States or America is somewhere between 300 and 400 million. So this country right here is possibly more than half the population alone of the United States. And they have basically, that's just this one country. So they're talking about Kazakhstan, which is here. And then you have all of this area in here, right? Bangladesh included. And then Russia. Like, they have all of this area is there what they're servicing. So eventually, and Russia goes way out here. So eventually, this is going to be huge, especially as it takes off and more people become aware of the benefits of the services they provide in their region. We kind of take it for granted over here because we're so used to it, but this is definitely new tech to them, and having it in their hands is going to put them, that whole area, more in line with what China's population has been able to do over the last few years. So there you go. There you have it. Veon, if you haven't already, check them out. Pasha Pyro, Big Board Pep, for my peeps. Thank you for tuning. The replay.